Brought to you by Mr. Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Mr. Pros TV, and today we're here in Tempe, Arizona, and we are talking with the one and only Cathy Green of Century 21 Arizona Foothills. She is the general manager of that office. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and joining us here on Real Estate Pros this afternoon.
Thank you, Jordan. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, first off, we'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself for those watching that don't know who you are. I don't know who doesn't know who you are, Cathy.
Well,
no.
I was going to say I've been around a while. My name's Cathy Green. I've been in Arizona since 1998. I started my real estate career back in Iowa in 92, and I have been with Century 21 Arizona Foothills. It will be 20 years in August, and I worked my way as an agent to a manager and now as a general manager. So I'm pretty well known around the valley, and I tell you, we've had a lot of incredible people that I've had the pleasure to work with over the years by being a part of Century 21 Arizona Foothills.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit about Arizona Foothills, since you are the general manager of it. How many agents do you guys have? You know, what are some of I guess we can talk a little bit more about, why agents ultimately gravitate towards Century 21. Century 21 is a great brand. It's something
Absolutely.
that I think I remember as a kid driving around. You see these, the yellow signs. So
You're
talk
right.
to
It's
us a
an
little bit about-
iconic brand,
Yeah.
Jordan. And the thing is, I know myself, when I first moved to the Valley, I went to a small brokerage for about 3.5 weeks, and I realized in a hurry, no one knew Cathy Green and nobody really cared, but everybody did know who Century 21 was. Honestly, I think through the years, Floyd Scott is our owner. The company will be 30 years old this year. And I think one of the things that Floyd has always done is partner with incredible people, just like Lister Pros, in order to bring amazing services and education to our agents so that we're constantly doing what we need to do and keeping people in the know and always putting great people around you. As far as the 440 agents, we have 11 offices around the valley, and as the general manager, I'm fortunate enough to get to visit all of those different locations and really get in front of the people. And I think that's probably what this business is, Century 21 on an international level. It is the brand, and the same way with our company, we are the Century 21 in the Phoenix area.
So Arizona Foothills is not just one location.
No.
There's 11 locations,
Yes,
because it sounds like an
yes.
individual branch
Right,
of
right,
Century
no.
21, but Arizona Foothills is huge.
Yes,
It's
yes,
11 locations throughout
Absolutely.
the valley.
Our corporate office is over in the Ahwatukee area. We have a couple different locations up in Scottsdale. We have two offices in Gilbert. We have offices in South Chandler. We have offices then, of course, on the west side, including Surprise, Glendale, Arrowhead. We have a satellite office there, and also in Central Phoenix. So
Wow.
pretty much you're going to be able to find us all over the valley.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
before I get into why people ultimately choose to join Century 21, let's back it up a bit. I want to ask you a little bit about what interested you originally in getting into real estate. Obviously, you were in Iowa, and what interested you in doing real estate?
Well, honestly, I started out in sales. My first sales was with Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Oh, wow.
And I enjoyed that. Well, at that time when I was doing Mary Kay, I was doing it part-time, and I was actually working in a dental office back in the day of doing the teeth polishing when you didn't have to be the hygienist. I became allergic to latex, and so I was kind of shoved out of that career. So my husband was a fireman, and his fireman captain owned a real estate company. I went and got my real estate license, and the rest is history. But my sales skills really and my management skills come from Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Wow.
I was a sales director for them, and it just really taught me that you know what? Get around a bunch of successful people and share ideas, and anything's possible.
So did you ultimately just say, all right, I'm done with Mary Kay? You stop that completely and say, I'm going to go this other direction. I'm going to do real estate.
Right. You know, honestly, when I first got out here in Arizona, in the Midwest, people don't move in the winter months. So my real estate business was primarily from about April till September. So the Mary Kay, I would work very heavy in the winter months. But here in the Valley, when we have the banquet of real estate, it pretty much became my full-time thing. And so then, you know, I still stay connected with a lot of my sales director friends and whatever. They're incredible women, and it's just something that you can never, ever disconnect from people that are smarter than you are and amazingly helpful.
Right. And I think that's something that we kind of take for granted here in Arizona. Being able to do business and transactions year-round, I guess you could, and I'm sure there's some. And we do see a little bit of a decline towards the end of the year, you know, the holidays. Yeah. But in Iowa, it's probably like magnified.
Yeah. Unless somebody passes away or, you know, I mean, people just don't move as often, and they certainly don't move in those winter months.
So does that mean that people just hold off selling their houses, and then those months that they do, it's like bam, bam, bam,
exactly.
bam, a whole
Exactly.
bunch.
You know, I used to tell my agents when they would come to me with different things that they thought were difficult and whatever, and I said, you know, I'm pretty tough. I said, don't be whining. I said, I sold houses that were $52,000 and people lived in them for 30 years, and there's always a market. So I'm really grateful that I was raised in that market, because it gave me just so much to be grateful for when I got here to Arizona. It's just crazy what's available to us here.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so what do you love the most about living here in Arizona versus Iowa? Obviously, there's the cold thing. But,
Right. You know, I think what it is I do believe that there's destiny, that your life is really kind of mapped out. And if you will embrace those opportunities that are given to you. When I first went to work for Century 21, Arizona Foothills, I had no idea who Floyd Scott was. And I'd gone to a class, and one of the training managers at that time, there was an opportunity that came up for a management, and they said that he should talk to me. Well, when I first was given that, I went to that interview and I was like, why would I want to do this? I've never managed real estate people. My husband, who now 43 and a half years, said, you know, you ought to just try it. And at that point, I was like, what do you know, I don't know how to do it. I'm afraid of this and whatever. But, you know, the neat thing is when I went to work for Floyd, I knew nothing about technology. And I said, you know, my management skills come from Mary Kay Cosmetics. I've never managed real estate people, but I am willing to learn, and I know nothing about technology. And I think I was so blunt with him that it was almost like, because I wanted to be upfront about it.
Sure.
But I said, but I am willing to learn. And, you know, the rest just kind of came. Floyd's been an incredible teacher. The people around me in the company, I started hiring people that were so much smarter and more amazing than I was, and I learned everything I could from them. So we just keep rolling with it and enjoy what you're doing. It's made all the difference for me.
So how long have you been the general manager now?
Well, this has been, I want to say we're going into our 4th year of it. We just had a major switch, though, this last 4 weeks. Instead of managing the managers as the general manager, we're always trying to bring things to our agents to help them increase their businesses. And so what we're doing now for this year is I'm going to be coaching the top 150 agents in the company.
Oh, wow.
I am so excited about that, because it's one of those things, you know, that when you get up every day and your passion is to help other people be successful, and you're working with some of the top people in the Valley, there's not really time to sleep right now because it's so exciting to be around that kind of energy. And it's so great that Floyd's allowing that to be brought to the company, and we're investing in our people.
Sure. Did you find that a tough transition? Because I think, you know, now that you more manage people versus manage listings and buyers and sellers, you know, you were obviously a top producing agent prior to becoming the general manager. Was that was it like a shift from one day to the next, or you're like, all right, I'm going to shift here? Did you find that transition fairly easy?
You know, it really was, because before, when I was an agent, my clients were the buyers and sellers, where now my clients are my agents. And so it's all about relationships, no matter what level that you're on. It's just like in you guys' business, it's all about building those relationships. So honestly, I feel so grateful at the point that I'm at now, because I get to be involved in all of their businesses. One of the things that I posted today on one of our sites had to do with learning. Not the smartest people in the world don't just learn from their mistakes, they learn from others' mistakes. It's the same way that I get to learn from all the things that are going on around me by being involved with the different agents, and then I'm able to share that on a larger platform. So a lot of our agents have been with us 17, 18 years. And the neat thing is with that, we've got some top people that are constantly sharing. And so now that with this coaching position, I'm going to be able to take that and help spread that around a little bit more than just the agents that were in my location previously.
Right. And having now managed a whole bunch of agents and now a bunch of top producers, what are those trends that have really changed since maybe when you started in real estate to when we look at real estate in 2018, which is very tech-driven? It's a lot different than it was previously. What are those things that are really helping those agents take off? And really, obviously, the bottom line is we'll take out hard work because that is what it takes to be a successful real estate agent. But there's also little things that help agents become successful. What would those things be after having work with so many agents?
That's really a great question because partnering with people like you with Lister Pro has really made a difference for our agents as far as having on that tech scene, being able to have the latest and greatest so that we can display our homes and that. People do start on the internet, but the main thing is what I realize is that it still comes back to the relationship. I used an example this morning at one of the meetings that I was at, and I was talking about I've always wore 9 West shoes. I went to the outlet mall to get the shoes, and they were out of them. I thought, no big deal. I'll get online and I'll get those shoes. After 2.5 hours of searching and so many to choose from, I ended up at DSW the next day. And it's kind of the same way with real estate. No matter how much information is there online, it becomes a very emotional, overwhelming experience. So my greatest agents, they're still about, they must have incredible education. They've got to know their market. But next, they have to care about their people. And they have to educate them and help them and be that voice of reason and also be that calming factor in a very emotional purchase.
Sure, absolutely. And we know here in Phoenix, there are a ton of brokers. There's a bunch of options. There's all kinds of different models and things like this. What ultimately drives agents to choose Century 21 Arizona Foothills?
Well, you brought it up early in our talk about the brand.
Yeah.
It's interesting. When people walk into one of our locations or they walk into one of our open houses, they have that trusted, already brand feeling that they're going to find a professional on the other side of that door. It's amazing. My agents, from the time they're brand new, we will get them educated and get them up on their sea legs so when they get out there and if they've been out and done their homework, which is previewing those properties, understanding pricing, then when that consumer walks through the door, they already believe in who they are. So they don't have to fight that of trying to convince them that their company is a company that they can trust. It's all about trust.
Sure, absolutely. And we know, and I think I've heard in the news recently, there were some changes in upper management of Century 21.
Oh, absolutely. That's what's probably one of the most exciting things. Our new bigwig of Century 21 is Nick Bailey. And the thing is, what's really, really great about a company like Century 21 International, they actually brought people in from outside the industry and are now in charge, which is incredible because it's going to keep us on the cutting edge because sometimes you do things the same way for so long.
Right.
And that's one of the things, regardless of my age, I can never quit learning, and I love being able to have this new perspective. And they're getting a brand new logo for the entire Century 21 brand. That's going to be rolling out. And I'll be heading to Orlando a week from Saturday for the International Convention so that we're going to be able to see all these new and great things and plus meet the new leaders and see all the things that they've got in store for our company and our iconic brand.
So a lot of things in store.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw the change and I thought it was interesting, just like you did. And I'm excited to see what Century 21 does with their brand. Obviously, going to rebrand the logo. I didn't know about that.
Absolutely.
But there's going to be more changes to come to help keep agents on the cutting edge of
exactly
and relevant, because we know like in 2018 there's a lot of different options. There's like different services and different things coming around and technology. So It's
no,
very
it's
important.
Very exciting.
So awesome. Well, if an agent is watching this, maybe they're not super happy with where they're at, or they're not getting the support or the training, or there's several reasons why agents may consider switching brokerages.
Absolutely.
How do people get a hold of you guys and figure out what you guys have to offer?
Well, I was going to say they can follow me on Facebook. Definitely, I'm all over that, and also just contact any of our offices. Honestly, what really makes my heart sad is that in an economy that is thriving and the greatest housing market in the United States, that people are not making the money they deserve. So that was kind of our switch to our personal coaching with our agents, because if anybody is out there listening today that is not making the money that they feel that they need to, Century 21 Arizona Foothills, half of our agents have never worked anywhere else.
Wow.
And not too many companies can say that.
Right.
And so I always say, we're actually a company that people do this as a profession. And my phone number is 602-432-7162. I've had that number the entire time I've been in the Valley. And if you mention my name, hopefully you'll be able to, you'll hear somewhat decent things about it, meaning I have a lot of relationships that I have built over the years. And I just am so grateful for all the people that have helped me along the way.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day this afternoon, Cathy, and joining me here on Real Estate Pros. And we will see you guys on the next episode.